If you've ever wanted to maintain sales momentum, you're going to love this podcast where we talk about the following things: how to transform your production team into your sales team, how to compound your customer lifetime value, how to leverage checklists effectively and efficiently to maintain consistency in your business. To get notified of upcoming podcasts, upcoming videos, hit subscribe, get your notifications turned on, and please share this video with someone that you think would benefit from it. Enjoy the show. Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome back to the Side Podcast. My name is Matt Jones, and before I jump into this episode, I just wanted to make a quick announcement to our audience from all over the world. At Tradie Web Guys, we are running a promotion until the end of June where we are giving away free $5,500 trade business websites. There is a catch. You need to be the right type of business. However, if you are a trade business and you are either in a growth phase or you are moving into a growth phase, then there is a very good chance that you are going to qualify for that. So head across to tradie.wiki/free. That's tradie.wiki/free. Fill in the form there, watch the video, and we look forward to chatting to you. Let's jump right in. Chris Wolf, welcome back to the Side Podcast. How are you, mate?
I'm happy to be here, Matt. Thanks for having me. Third time's a charm. That's what they tell me.
Exactly. Yep. So this episode is episode 3 of the Success in Sales series that I'm conducting with Chris from Sales Transformation Group. The first episode, we were speaking about all the leads you need. In the second episode, we spoke about closing happens before the close. And in this episode, we're talking about riding the wave of production. Now, I will say to you guys, do go check out those previous episodes. There's some absolute wealth of information in them. And in truth, we're going to reference the heck out of them. So it probably will make a lot more sense if you go and listen to episode 1 and 2 before you listen to episode 3. But do whatever you want. What do I know? So, mate, welcome back. Thanks again for your time. You're tuning in all the way from Seattle, and Ryan was
sunny Pacific Northwest,
or lack of sunny.
Yeah. A little sarcasm.
Yeah, beautiful part of the world though. Love Seattle.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. We just don't get that much sun. You got it.
Yeah. So cool. In this episode, we're talking about riding the wave of production. Again, this is a sales conversation, I suppose. Who are we speaking to here? Is it frontline techs? Is it CSRs, business owners?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what we want to change the paradigm around on this one is for the frontline sales professionals and the technicians who are, out there. They do the work. They either line up the job or they do it and then they just kind of forget about it. And there's a lot of uncaptured momentum and uncaptured potential, right? Yeah. They do all the work to get to here and then they just stop when, they could have kept going and built it and made their lives easier on the next one and the next one and the next one. They just kept going rather than say, okay, well, it's done. See you later. I'm done.
So a bit of a shout out as well, I suppose. This specific topic was one of the reasons I reached out to you guys, because one of our clients in Sydney, Ryan, has had an issue. He reached out to us and he said, listen, I want to find a way to help my technicians or the guys that are out on the job sell more, but not even perhaps sell more, but certainly like offer more or provide more, when they're on the job, and so that was one of the reasons, I reached out to you guys again. It's just to help some of the business owners, I suppose, understand, or help the business owners equip their sales techs or the guys that are going to the site with, some frameworks around things they can be asking to improve that production, improve that offering, and just like you said before, better offer a better service, offer more things, to let people understand, I suppose what it is they actually do.
Well, and it's so much work and time and money goes into getting these customers in the first place, right? And it's like, 100%. Do you want to duplicate that over and over and over again? Or do you want to do all that time and energy and work and then reap the rewards with just a little bit more work?
Sure. And here's the thing as well, guys. Consider this. Like if your clients are paying like a call out fee for you to get there, and they've got to come back and pay a same call out fee for something you should have recommended to them when you were there the first time. You're actually doing them a disservice. Like, just ask the freaking right questions and you're offering a better customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And the customer's happier, you're happier, your lead acquisition costs go down. But so many people on the front lines of what we do just don't even think about it like that.
Sure. And in truth, the fish rots from the head down. In most cases, it's this is a training issue. And so I would say for you guys out there that are watching this and you're the leaders in your company, whether you're an owner or a director or a manager or whatever, this is directed at you. Like, you don't blame them, you train them, right? So the situations that we see commonly happening are when a technician goes out to a job to do a insert service, change a light bulb, fix a PowerPoint, install a switchboard or whatever. They go and do the job. They do it well. They leave. The customer's happy. Great. Awesome. On the flip side of that, what have they left on the table that A, is a disservice to the client, especially in the space of potentially liability? Like, and if you're in a vertical which, like electricians, for example, you've got an obligation to make sure that you are doing quality checks on this is people's lives you're potentially dealing with here. Perhaps a little different if you're a plumber, sure, on the level of from a safety perspective. But the point I'm trying to make is have a process in place where where you've got your technicians asking the right questions. And in truth, it's a simple checklist. It's not like rocket science. All you're doing is making them. I mean, you're going to have more input into this, I'm sure, Chris, but from my experience, all you need to do is have your guys go through the same checklist on every job. And that is enough typically to uncover more problems, have them at least offer more solutions to potential problems that they might be having or they might have. And at the same time, it's also expanding the client's understanding and knowledge of your offering and what it is you can actually do, because they called you out there for a hot water heater, not knowing that you can also change their tap washers or whatever it might be. Okay.
I love your emphasis on checklists.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about other professions, checklists are like one of the most important things. If you're a doctor and you're going into surgery, there's a big old checklist that the doctor and the assistant doctor and the nurse and the anesthetic person and they go through the checklist, right? Or if you're flying a plane and you're going to take off, there's a checklist. Does this work? Does that work? Does this work? Right? So it should be the same thing in your organization. If you're a sales leader or an owner, like, you need to create, what are the things I want to make sure my frontline people are doing, and give it to them, because humans will follow checklists if they have them.
Sure.
I really love what you said. Don't blame them, train them, right? Like, if we're not giving them checklists, we can't expect them to be doing that. Exactly. It's one of the simplest things you can implement right away. Whatever services you offer, whatever questions you want to have them ask, right? Those, and then once the technicians and the salespeople are familiar with that checklist, right, then it becomes second nature. Then they're going to be pushing for those other things. Oh, what else can we do? What else? I also think it's a mindset too, right? You have to shift your paradigm from transactional to relational, right? Because if it's someone you don't care about, then they call you to do something, you show up, you do it, you get paid, you're done. You don't care. But when you care about them, right, and you care about what you do and you have pride in what you do, then you're naturally you're already thinking how else can I help? What else can I do for this person?
Mm-hmm. Right? So with this paradigm, this change in the way that you should present, or at least have these conversations with, your team members and whatever. If you don't actually make this part of your process, it won't get done. And I say it all the time. So the whole checklist conversation, so for context, checklist is basically a simplified word for project management. If you look at, we run a digital marketing agency. If you look at our SEO project management space, it's a series of super comprehensive checklists. Now, same with web development, same with pretty much everything we do, right? Now, the reason they're so effective is, first and foremost, it delivers consistency. And so those situations, and I've been in this situation before myself when I was running a plumbing company where, we would have different technicians go out to different jobs and they would all do the thing. They would do it right, but they wouldn't do it the same way. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing until it gets to a point where you realize things aren't being done like the company way. They're just being done. And you see like a lot of objections with, we deal with this quite regularly in truth, where we've got, businesses that have got their technician that's been there for 30 years and he's been master, he knows his trade, he knows how to do it. And you can't tell this person how to do something different because they've always done it their way and they're not willing to change, as opposed to when you're bringing up, young like apprentices and you're training them into your processes and things like that, they will adopt that mantra, they adopt that style, they adopt that whole sort of philosophy. And there's a lot of awkward conversations that potentially need to happen, in these situations. But the point I'm trying to make is checklists are there to first and foremost help you deliver a consistent result, like whatever that might be. And they're also there as well for accountability. So if things have been checked off, they've been done, and they've been done because they're checked off. And if there's someone's checked something off and it hasn't been done, then you've got grounds to have that conversation with people and figure out what the hell's gone on there. But the point I'm trying to make is like it demands accountability and it encourages consistency. So it's like you were saying, Chris, it's a really easy thing to set up.
Yeah. And it provides a bridge, right? Like let's say you've got that guy who's been working for 30 years. And he knows plumbing backwards and forwards, and he probably knows the little technical intricacies of plumbing even better than you as the business owner, right? But he's not comfortable asking the homeowner for a Google review. He's not comfortable asking the homeowner if they have anything else they need done, right? But when he has a checklist or a script, it gives him structure, right? It gives people structure and something to hold on to if they're doing something they're a little less comfortable with.
And from the business owner's point of view, and a lot of guys will be sitting there nodding their head relating to this, I can guarantee it. Because in truth, like most people, the vast percentage would be uncomfortable with doing something they've never done, right? Like it's just human. So the way that you address that conversation with people and with team members is, listen, I know that this is not comfortable for you. I know you've never done this before. So I'm just trying to make it easy. And I've developed this checklist. And then there's a process on how to do this step because I know it's not comfortable for you. The checklist is there so you don't forget, because I know sometimes you will forget if it's not in front of us. And the process is there to teach you on how to do it. If you ever forget or you want to get some tips on certain parts of this step, just go and watch this video. And again, I'm open to feedback on this. If we want to change a few things, let's do it. But I'm just trying to equip you with the tools you need to get this done properly. That's a really different way to pitch it at someone or a team member than saying, no, just do it. We're doing this now. Go and do it, right?
Yeah, you have to do it because I'm the boss and I say you have to do it or you'll get fired.
Yeah. And so the culture that you want to breed into this, I suppose, what into this part of a business and into this whole, conversation around being more productive, doing things more productively. You want to breed a culture around like creation and evolution. And by that, I mean, so we encourage our team, empower our team members to create processes. And we say, okay, if you can think of a better way to do this, I'm all ears. Let's do it, because I appreciate that you guys are out there doing it more than me, and you guys are better at doing this than I am. And I want to get your feedback on it. And I can guarantee you they are far more likely to follow a process that they've created than one that you've given them.
Yes. Well, it's got to be collaborative, right? And then once they start to see success, then they'll do it more, right? Oh, wow, right. I did get a referral, or, well, they did ask us to do something else on the house, right?
Exactly.
And then it builds and it builds. One thing I do want to say, we talk a lot about technicians. If you're an organization that uses salespeople to close jobs separately from technicians, labor, whatever, that actually do it, you need to make sure that those salespeople are supporting the technicians and laborers as well.
Mhm.
It shouldn't just be the sales team books it, passes it off. Now everything is the responsibility of the production team.
Mhm.
If you have a salesperson, right? So it's different. Like plumbing, you get a call, you send your technician out. That's one thing, right? But if you have a sales team that is independent from the labor force, the sales team needs to work with the labor force to be doing all these things.
Yeah, and you do see that a bit in the industries like plumbing, where they might get a call come in for a block drain, and they'll send the sales tech out there who will then sell them into, a reline or whatever it might be. And then the people that the techs come out and they actually do the job, and the salesperson pisses off to the next job and tries to close it. And I've always had a bit of a problem with it for a number of reasons. Firstly, I feel like, I mean, sure, you've got one person out there that's doing the selling, and some one person might be better at it. But from the customer's perspective, are they like? It's pretty clear as soon as that salesperson leaves that they've been sold.
Right. And it's a problem because then you're impacting customer experience.
Exactly right.
Right? You're bringing down their opinion and their feeling about the company and about the whole thing.
And then on the flip side of that, I feel like people inherently want to do better. They want the opportunity to learn new things. They want to be challenged, and you're kind of taking that away from them if you're not giving them at least the opportunity to try and sell the job and do it right. So, and I get it. I know that doesn't always play out. In a perfect world, that everyone would sell their own jobs and do their own jobs, sure, whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is, sometimes as business owners, we do get stuck in a rut of thinking that we're doing something right, and it comes at the cost of not giving people the opportunity to excel.
Mm.
And you need to draw that line, and you need to define it, and you need to be able to give people opportunity. You need to be able to equip them with the opportunity to do something, extra above and beyond, extend a skill, improve. Otherwise, it does create animosity, and I've seen it firsthand in organizations I've worked in, where you've got the sales techs that go out, they'll do a job, the technician will rock up, and then there'll be this, oh, we can't do that. I don't want to do that anyway. Why would I do that? He's the one who's getting paid for it. Like, it's this whole you got to run the gambit pretty quick, pretty smartly. So,
And that's where I think that partnership comes in. If you're an organization that does that, right? Or like let's say you're talking bigger projects. You might be selling like an extension of a house, and you're going to have a whole crew come in and do that extension. Then that person who sold it still needs to be part of it, still needs to work with the crew, needs to be there when the job starts, needs to be there when the job closes.
yeah.
Right?
And one of the interesting things that I've seen a couple of companies do really well is what you just said then, and not so much on the home scale, but like even on like a jobs basis, sparkies, electricians, plumbers, landscape gardeners, whatever. If they'll go out there and they'll sell the job, that person that sold the job is responsible for the entire project, including callbacks.
Yep, absolutely.
Even though they're not doing the job. And what that actually encourages is, it means that if the person's out there and they've sold the wrong thing to the client because they're trying to make bank or whatever, and the client gives negative feedback, or something falls over or whatever it might be, or the problem's not solved and the technician's got to come back and do something else, that then falls back on the salesperson for recommending the wrong solution. So they kind of manage the whole project in a way.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that go back and have the conversation with the client. They're the ones that go and fix the thing that's broken, not the person that's actually just doing what they've been told, kind of thing.
Right. And when you really own that whole process, what that does is however you want to do it with your technicians, salespeople, however, when you own that process, then it really sets you up to keep reaping the rewards of that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a salesperson who goes back, or a technician who checks in, then you're opening yourself up to more referrals. You're opening yourself up to more organic social media referrals, right? Or more jobs from that same customer, because the trust is being built, the relationship's being built. You're going to be back in that neighborhood, right? Because the neighbor across the street is going to see that you went there over and over and over, and they're be like, wow, these people care. They're doing a good job. I want to work with them.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'd say that, like, at a minimum, like for you guys out there that are, sending text to jobs, the three things that you should probably want to have clarity around, and systems or project management or checklists or whatever, right, would be so the on-site checklist. When they get there, what do they do? Well, in truth, there should be probably something before they get to the job, which would probably likely include things like, appearance and presentation and, so on and so forth. Notification, letting the client know they're going there if that doesn't come from dispatch or whatever, right?
Yeah. The
But
pre-call. Hey, I'm on the way. I'll be here at this time.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. And again, there's technology that can do a lot of heavy lifting, that sort of stuff. Whatever, technology or not, doesn't really matter. Just get it done, right? And then the on-site checklist. So whatever that looks like for your business. So make sure that they're following that. And then often, and depending on the job, there will be a job checklist. So things they have to do for that specific job, things that they need to do in order to, very often for compliance. Have we done this? Have we done that? Blah, 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 whatever it is. Like, have we done our safety audit? Have we checked it? Is it like, so on and so forth. And then there should also be a post-project checklist.
Yes. That is where so many organizations miss, Matt. And that's why I wanted to do this episode specifically, is there's got to be processes, checklists, systems in place to harness that energy, right? You did all the work to get the lead. You did all the work to sell it. You did all the work to produce a high quality job that you're proud of and the customer is happy with. Now you have to have some process, some actions, whether it's automated, personal. However, I really like what you guys do. You have a lot of automated emails, this and that. There's got to be things to capture it after the job, whatever that looks like for your organization, right? If you're a window cleaner and you're going to come back 2 or 3 times a year, there's got to be steps to set that customer up so they know, if you're doing a roof and you're not coming back, or maybe you're going to come back for a yearly inspection for a couple of years, right? Like, there's got to be those steps post job.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies and organizations won't do it because they think too small time, too short term. They're like, why would I do that? It's extra work. I'm not going to get value. You are going to get a ton of value.
Yeah.
If you actually do it.
And this is the thing you see a lot. I mean, you touched on like that whole scheduled maintenance sort of conversation with, a lot of these guys. And I'm hoping, a lot of you viewers and listeners out there, like, this is a penny drop moment for you. But like, some of you are sitting on gold mines in terms of scheduled maintenance. Like, you look at block drains, for example. I mean, like, if you're not setting yourself a reminder, at least yourself a reminder, and, ideally the client, but setting yourself a reminder. Oh, actually, and this is one thing as well that those, like, the sales tech is responsible for in that situation I was referring to earlier. They also have to do the follow-up down the track and the rebook the job. But if you're not setting yourself a reminder, say, hey, follow up with Chris because 4 months ago we cleared his block drain. Chances are there's root intrusion already. Let's get to it before it surcharges. Like, put yourself in your customer's shoes for a second. You can either be proactive and reach out to them and say, hey, listen, 4 months ago we came and clean your drain. There was root intrusion. Here's some footage of where that was. Chances are it's back again. It's 4 months later. We want to come out and check it at least, and let's just be sure that if it is there, we can clear it for you so that it doesn't block up and overflow into your house again. That customer is going to be so much more happy than them having to go, bloody sewers overflowed again. Can you get out here ASAP? Like, it's a no-brainer. So anyway, the point I'm trying to make is some of you guys are sitting on these, scheduled maintenance dreams, plumbing related, electrical related, electrical, it could be monitoring, it could be a number of things, lawn care, like, that's an absolute no-brainer. Like, you mow a lawn, you go back in 6 weeks and you mow it again, like, or whatever it is, right? Trim the hedges, like, this is a great way to build recurring income into your business, and it's a great way to build trust and rapport with your clients. And it's a no-brainer. Like, they're gonna have to have it done. Just be proactive with it.
And depending on your trade, right? You can have it as an add-on service.
Sure.
Like, to keep the roofing example, if we're talking to roofers and they're like, well, I already installed the roof. What is there to do? I did a good job. It's fine. You could be selling a yearly cleaning,
Exactly.
500 to $1,000, you know, and that's just rent. And you hire techs that just do clean all your roofs.
Exactly. And get out there and look for other problems, you know. I mean, it's like getting your foot in the door is the hardest part of any sale, you know. And like if you've got a process around doing that in an ethical manner, I should qualify. Then you know it makes sense. You know, a situation we had recently with an air conditioning client of ours down in Victoria. They were like saying what I was talking about recently, actually. On a call recently, I was talking to them about how they should have like a process in place, a scheduled maintenance process where they basically go out and they'll do like a their first year service for the unit they've installed. Now, for a couple of reasons as well. First and foremost, getting out there and looking for other problems, sure. Second of all, a lot of the manufacturers have warranty obligations, and if you've got to have it serviced within a certain period of time, otherwise the warranty's void. Your client's not going to know that.
You
You've
better show
installed
up
it.
before that warranty voids.
Exactly. So if their warranty is void, that's on you, man. You're the technician. You installed it. They don't freaking know, right? So, like, suck it up. Get like anyway. So it's a great way for them to get out there. And what we basically and what I said to them was, well, you know, with every new install, they said, oh, well, we should go back and we should do our service. And I said, okay, well, how about we flip this the other way? With every new install, you sell them a service agreement, or you sell them a membership, which as part of the membership, they get a free air conditioning service, but they also get a plumbing inspection and an electrical inspection every year. And they also get a 20% discount as a member. And they're like, genius, right? So they've taken this shift from, okay, we're just going to install an aircon unit and we're going to come back and service it, to now we've installed an aircon unit. We've given them a membership, which is free for the first year, which includes all of these other things, which enables us to go and look for all the other problems that we can solve for them, right? So it's a small thing. It's essentially the same thing you're selling, but it's a different spin on it, right?
And then, you know, we're talking a lot about capturing recurring revenue from existing clients. When you provide this level of service, and when you stay connected post job, post installation, post repair, whatever, that lines you up so much better for more referrals, more brand, better customer experience. You're the new job, you know, because we talk about how hard it is to get the job in the first place, right? And then we're capturing the easy gains from that job that we worked so hard to get. And now, because we're doing so much work and we're trying so hard to take care of this customer, it's going to be easier to close the next customer.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to see it, or they're going to hear about it, or they're going to know about, that's what we do. That's how we operate. And the next person is going to say, wow, I want that. Exactly. I don't want a full blow contractor. I want this guy who's going to do this kind of service.
Yeah. And it ties into what this is the conversation we had in the last podcast, you know, with the closing happens before the close. Like, you know, that sort of trust and rapport and that belief, like you've built that into the conversation before you've even spoken to the client. Like if that's been their experience in the lead up, they're, you know, what they've been exposed to, if it came a referral from someone or whatever, and they're like, check this out, blah, blah, blah. Like you've answered these problems already. It's a no brainer. So
yeah, your conversion and close rates on those new jobs are going to be so much higher. In addition, all the extra money you're already making from doing a better job of this customer.
So what are some of the things, Chris, that you think people should be doing better in terms of, I suppose we can't really talk to maybe the on-site checklist because I suppose it's pretty specific to industry, but certainly like post-job checklists. What are some of the things that the guys out there should be building into their post-job checklists?
Yeah, I mean, so you got to make sure you're getting your online reviews, you're getting referrals, posts. You want to get those right away. On a longer time scale, for sure, some sort of check-in, maintenance. You know, you want to get the truck back in the neighborhood.
Right.
Whatever you need to do to get the truck back in the neighborhood in a positive and healthy way. And then you should have a database, right? These people, your existing clients, should be getting regular letters, Christmas cards, you know, whatever, contact, hey, updates. Hey, you know, this is how the business has been doing. Thank you for contributing this year. And you can also engage your clients by helping be referrals for new clients, right? Like if you have a job that you're trying to land, and you can say, or you're trying to create video content, right? And you can say, hey, you had this specific problem. I want to capture your story and I want to share your story with other people who might have that problem, right? Like you had a water main break right outside your house on Christmas morning, and we, came out there same day, and this is what, right? Like you want to use those clients to turn your maybe people who aren't referrals but can interact with these people either watching a video, or some people like to do, like some people will even be available for phone calls. I've had clients literally tell me like, hey Chris, if you want to have anyone call me and talk to me, like that'd be great, I'm happy to share my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the, like, it's interesting too, and you sort of touched on something perhaps without even knowing it, but there's things that we do day to day within our business which we can either spin as boring, or we can either put an interesting spin on for the purpose of making, like, for marketing, right? So what you just said then, right? Okay, well, we came out and you fixed a burst water heater. So we say this all the time, right? We all have marketing clients every month. Hey, fill in this form. Let us know about an interesting job that you've done. Oh, I haven't done anything. It's just a block drain. Or all I've done is stick a roof on. All I've done is, change some light bulbs or whatever it might be, right? But in that situation, you just mentioned before, okay, so, okay, well, all we did this month was, an after hours, interesting was an after hours call out for a burst pipe. Okay, well, what day was it? Oh, Christmas Eve. Oh, okay, it was Christmas Eve. So you went out, but you can put little spins on stories to make it more marketable, and like I've spoken about a number of times with, a client of ours, in Sydney that was the same sort of situation. Talk about a job you've done. Nothing really. What was the job you did yesterday? Well, just nothing. We just did like a block drain. Where? Just down in Kirribilli in Sydney. Kirribilli, under the Harbour Bridge. Yeah, actually, just right around there, around the corner a bit. Oh, what, around near the where the Prime Minister lives, on the Sydney Harbour foreshore. Yeah, actually, in the heritage listed area. Yeah. So all of a sudden you've got, oh, we cleared a block drain, boring, to, we've in a heritage Sydney Harbour foreshore, under the Harbour Bridge, heritage listed property, drain rejuvenation project. Like it's the same job. You've just dressed it differently, right?
Well, and that's what we mean when we talk about riding the wave.
Right.
Like that's a wave that contractor can ride.
Sure.
Or they can just let it peter out and no one knows and no one heard about it, and it doesn't help future business at all.
And so, and like we're doing a similar thing right now. Like we've got hundreds and hundreds of podcasts, and like I've basically said, okay, well, we want to, and we've got loads and loads of videos on YouTube. We've got next to no followers on our YouTube channel. And it's because we've just been sticking videos on podcasts on YouTube, and it looks like we've just stuck a podcast on YouTube. So now we've gone through this whole, like we're riding the wave now of taking this content and we're amplifying it, and we're changing our thumbnails and we're changing our messaging and we're doing all this stuff. The content is essentially the same, but the messaging is formidably different. And so, we're revamping and upgrading all this content to ride the wave further on the content that we've already got. And this drips down into all different areas of the business, right? Like you can do that in pretty much every department, but you've just got to have a bit of foresight as to what it is you need to do. And you've got to take a step backwards and look at it, from the outside sometimes, because when you're in the inside, sometimes you just get caught up in the rut,
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've talked a lot on this series about changing your mindset, your paradigm, right? I love that. If you want to change your results and you want to change where you're at, then you have to change something up here too, right? You can't just wish, oh yeah, well, I just want more things to happen. It's like, you got to embrace what you're not doing. I mean, it might be you're not telling the story about your company and about the jobs you've done, or you're letting things fizzle out, or you got to have that growth mindset to embrace the change, to do something different, to create these different results.
And for the better part, most people that are watching this or listening to this, they're doing that, right? They're getting information because they're looking for change. But I would say off the back of this, like take the time to sit down and think about things. Like I just can't exaggerate how important it is, for you guys to spend the time on the strategic side of things. Like think about things. how can we do, where is the problem here currently with this? And how can we do this thing better? What can we change? What are we currently doing? How can we improve it? What do we remove? What do we add? What do we, what do we complement? Like whatever it is, right? But like just take the time to think and then get it into a plan of some sort, strategize it, make it, put a date on it, assign people, if it needs steps, write this, document the steps, get it done, get it in a way, in a fashion that people can actually be accountable to it. Again, it's called project management. Do it on the back of a bar coaster for all I care. I don't give a shit. I'm just going to say, get it done, right? The technology is a conversation that comes later. The important thing is the mindset and understanding, okay, these are the things that we need to do in order to get the thing.
And one of those things, or one of the things we need to do to get that result and that success, is ride the wave. Couldn't put it any better.
Man, this has been amazing. I think this pretty much wraps it up for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we're there. If anyone wants to reach out directly, would love to chat. Definitely go to salestransformationgroup.com, book a discovery call, learn more about how we can help transform your business through continued predictable sales growth. But yeah, I think for the success in sales, we've hit a lot of the key points.
It's been awesome. So that was the third episode, Riding the Wave of Production. Episode 2, closing happens before the close. And episode 1 was all the leads you need. And that formed the Success in Sales series. So yeah, guys, salestransformationgroup.com is the website. The links are going to be in the show notes. I think Chris is going to leave behind some resources as well, but I'm going to really try and push you guys towards these guys if you need sales related help, because in truth, I don't know anyone in the industry that really does it anywhere near as well as these guys. And so I really recommend you get into their ecosystem and get into their program. I'll have all the emails, I'll have the social handles, I'll have the whole shebang in there. So if you've got any questions, you can reach out to them. Also, Ryan is in the Facebook community. So if you have questions you want to ask him directly when you see this come up on Facebook, just ask the question in the Facebook group and he'll answer it. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it. Chris, thanks so much for your time. I look forward to working with you guys again, and keep up the good work, mate. It's awesome what you guys are doing, and it's very needed.
Thanks, Matt. This has been great. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, mate. That's a wrap.
If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you go check out episodes 1 and 2 of this series, as this is the third and final. Episode 1 was all the leads you need, and episode 2 was the closing happens before the close. Those links are going to be in this post. Regardless, I'd love to hear your feedback and your comments on this podcast, so please leave it in the comments below and let us know while you're there what you'd like to hear more of in upcoming episodes. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the SiteShed podcast. Once again, if you would like to claim a free $5,500 business website, then head across to tradie.wiki/free. Of course, there is a catch, but there is a very good chance that you will qualify for that. So please head across there, complete the form, and we look forward to speaking to you over at Tradie Web Guys shortly.